What's up, y'all? Brandy Churchwell here. I am going to jump right in it and pick up where we left off. This is part 2 of trial day 11 for Zachariah Anderson, the obsessed ex-boyfriend trial. Where we left off is cross-examination. Zachariah and Sadie's daughter is on the stand, and things are starting to get hostile. I had just shown a clip where Attorney Nicole Mueller is cross-examining her, and she's got her defenses up, and things start getting worse and worse.
I am near the back of the house. I am on, if you're looking at it from the field, I don't think you're listening.
So I'm just a little confused because you're saying you're on the bar side and the door with the window is on the complete opposite side of the house.
Correct. That does not mean that I did not see him turn that corner and when he came back to tell me what he had saw.
Okay, so again, I only want to know
and
what...
I'm telling you.
Just a moment. Please listen to the whole question and then answer, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Things don't get much better as O tries to clarify.
I got out twice.
So the second time then, well, you got out 2 times?
Do I need to re-explain?
No. Please, you can answer a question without a question.
I'm confused.
Okay, well, let's do this. No, let's not.
I'll just...
Things don't get much better. Mueller asks if O and her mom had ever discussed that night or had ever discussed that night with her. At this point, you can tell that she's feeling attacked. She's closed herself off. She's very defensive with all of her answers. Judge Schroeder steps in and tries to tell her that the attorney is not asking her what was talked about, but just not the content itself, but just if her mom had talked to her. Mueller asks if her mom said that she thought Zach was involved, and O replies that she knew. She said that there's nothing her mom told her that she didn't already know. She asks if she remembers telling her mom that she wasn't there that night, that she only knew about it from a video, and she said yes, she does remember saying that. As she begins to elaborate, Mueller cuts her off mid-sentence.
Okay. And do you remember telling her that you actually weren't there?
I do remember telling her that. I did.
And that you just knew what had happened because of a video you watched and from what your dad told you?
Yes. In the beginning of all of this, I did not come out.
I didn't have a question.
Now, after lunch, the nonverbal communication talks begin. Prosecution has received a video from Court TV where it shows Zach motioning to his daughter what seems to be a keep your mouth closed type of motion. They bring this up to the judge, and Judge Schroeder orders footage from Court TV to be shown. Now, the defense comes up and says that they also have an issue. They said that Sadie is a certified ASL interpreter and that O understands it. Defense said that Zach's family, who is in the courtroom that day, says that she is signing to O while she's on the stand. One thing she said was calm down, but they don't know what else has been said, and they ask if Court TV could possibly also provide that video if they happen to catch it. Now, Gravely stands up and says, no, Sadie is not a certified interpreter and O doesn't know sign language, so they call Sadie to the stand. Gravely asks whoever made the allegations against Sadie and O be removed from the court. He watches them leave, and then Sadie returns to the stand where she's questioned about her abilities. Now, Gravely was right. She is not a certified interpreter. However, she does let the court know that she is fluent in sign language. She said that she didn't motion or sign anything to O while she was on the stand, but the one time when O had gotten really frustrated, she said that as a mom, she may have told her to calm down. Now, our defendant, who never likes to miss an opportunity to show us that he can't control his emotions, mouths to his attorneys, "That's not true." And then he uses sign language to say, "Mother, father, orange, please, and thank you." So, still outside the presence of the jury, the defendant seems to remain frustrated while the court discusses the video evidence of him motioning toward his daughter. At this point, someone tries to leave the courtroom. Judge Schroeder stops mid-sentence to tell them that they can't leave, and if they do, they can't take their phones. He said that there's a court rule in effect that phones must be contained and on silent, and if you leave with your phone, you can't return. He lets the court know that no phones are out of pocket, and if they are, they will be in contempt of court. So, having finally settled all this, court finally resumes with their daughter back on the stand. So, as Mueller begins to question O again, she starts trying to press her for details about any conversations that she previously had with her mom about Rosalio. O starts getting frustrated because she said that it's been 3 years. So many things, she does remember because they were important. So many things she's forgotten. I mean, she was 11 and 12 at this time. So she's getting frustrated, but she said that she does remember some of the important stuff. Mueller asks if her memory is overall good, and the way she is approaching things, it seems like she's trying to get this child caught up. Just as I'm getting frustrated watching it and wishing that this child had an advocate that could help, Judge Schroeder, I have to give him credit for a lot of the ways that he handled some of this. He stepped in and he tells Mueller that if her goal is to try to impeach this witness, this is not the proper form of questioning. He instructs her to use a different tactic to try to refresh her memory if that's what she's trying to do. Mueller said that she's trying to get her to the point of addressing a video, but doesn't know who else is in the video, doesn't know the name of who's in the video. Judge Schroeder responded with, quote, "I can't believe we are in a situation where we don't even know who the people involved are." Mueller said that she wasn't expecting to have to go into this, so she wasn't prepared with the details and doesn't have it in front of her. Judge Schroeder said, "Well, find it." So, when O says that she knows what interview the defense is referring to, the judge allows questioning to resume. Mueller asks if she remembers telling them about a memory that she had when she was only a year old. There's an objection. Mueller said that she has a reason that she doesn't want to discuss the relevance of this in front of the witness. At this point, Schroeder asks if the attorneys, the defendant, and the witness, yes, as in Zach and his daughter, want to go into the library to discuss this. Obviously, the state says, no, we don't want the witness and the defendant in the same room. The judge allows the defense and Zach to go into another room and his daughter to stay there, but Zach tells the judge that he doesn't want to go. So he remains seated at the defense table alone. When they return, Mueller said to avoid potential issues down the road, they decided just to abandon that line of questioning. So at this point, Mueller goes back into questioning about the child's conversations with Sadie about Rosalio. She brings up the conversations on the 19th, and O said that all her mom had to say was that one of her friends was hurt pretty bad, and that's all she had to say for her to get it. Mueller asks her to explain what she means by that, and again, the child seems to really clam up. It's heartbreaking to hear the audio of her asking Judge Schroeder if she can skip that question. He explains, unfortunately, she can't. She tries to clarify by saying that she knew something bad had happened to someone that she knew, and she knew it was Rosalio without Sadie even saying his name. When Mueller asks why she automatically thought it was him, she said because of what happened on her birthday morning. Now, Mueller brings up her knowing that Sadie had gone down to Rosalio's house. And O said that she knew, not because Sadie told her, but because she was tracking her. Now, they both seem confused by this. I think in this moment, Mueller is questioning her about May 19th, but Sadie seems to misunderstand and is referring to the time that she had mentioned before in her testimony, where she said that she saw the tracker on her dad's computer and saw her mom go to Rosalio's house. So when Mueller tried to clarify and said, so this is on the 19th. She said no. May 19th, she didn't know where her mom was. She got home from school that day. Her mom was gone. She said that the time that she was referring to was sometime between her birthday and the day that Rosalio disappeared. Her dad had her watch the tracker sometime in between that date while he was apparently watching her brothers. Mueller then brings up the police interviews following the disappearance and brings up what O had told the investigators. She said that the events that happened on her birthday were traumatic for her, so she told them about those. And then everything starts to get crazy. Okay, so this is the part that I've seen debated on social media nonstop for the last 24 hours about who opened the door, who could possibly be responsible if this, is mistrial, finger pointing, blame game, all that typical social media stuff. So I wanted to really focus on this specific part and break it down. Now, during the cross-examination, Mueller asks O right here about the interview that she had with investigators before. She said, without going into detail, do you remember stopping the interview to go ask your mom a question about something that she should or could or shouldn't or whatever say to investigators? Now, this is where things go wrong because the defense has now opened this door, but she didn't want to open it all the way. She just wanted to crack it. She told her, don't go into details about it. Now, the thing that she went to go ask about was if she should tell investigators about an unregistered gun. So the entire time that the defense has been putting on their case, they have been flirting with the idea without, complete Denny violations. They've been flirting with the idea that Sadie is responsible in some way or trying to put that insinuation in the air. It's been really obvious. It almost even led to a mistrial, towards the beginning. So by leaving that question in the air, it makes it sound like her mom, like Sadie is trying to coach her on what she can and can't say to investigators. Now, Mueller asked about the phone interview done on the 22nd where they talked about her dad's flip-flops, so they're trying to kind of move on past this. She literally only touched on that one part, but she left so much in the air during that. Mueller then brings up a November 2020 interview where she told law enforcement about her dad giving her a Motorola 6. Then she brings up having taken a phone from her family member. So, of course, there's an objection from the state. Here we go again with her. She gives her that one little moment where she's trying to, treat her like a child and not just like a adult witness who can handle these types of things. And then, it goes right away and she goes right back into the accusatory, trying to discredit her stuff. She then asks O about the chainsaw again. And O said that at the farm, Zach had taken the chainsaw into the barn, then put it back in the car, took it home. They go back and forth about this, about whether it was the same one or a different one and what she told police before. But she doesn't remember. She said that whatever she told them when it was closer to it, that would be the best memory because it's, of course, she was 11 or 12 then. She doesn't remember now. Mueller pounces on this and says, so you're saying that your memory today is that you don't remember. Mueller asks about telling them that her dad had a storage unit. She doesn't remember that either. She does remember telling officers about her dad having a ton of cash at the house and that her dad was selling marijuana and taking psychedelic mushrooms. Now it's time for redirect, and Gravely confirms that O doesn't remember her dad ever staying the night at her mom's house between her birthday and the date of Rosaleo's disappearance. He also asks her what the topic was that she wanted to go ask her mom if she was allowed to talk about during the interview. Now, defense objects because Mueller did not want to go through that door. She only wanted to open it. So she objects and says that, that brings in outside things, prior acts, things that could get tricky for her client. The state says that, of course, it sounds like something suspicious, the way that the defense opened the door and then just left it. They take a break. Defense argues that it is previous acts. The state points out that defense opened that door by clearly asking her why she stopped the interview to go ask her mom about things that she could or couldn't say. Now, you can make your own interpretations from this. I'm giving you facts about things that were said and both sides, and what both sides are arguing. My own interpretation of this is to side with the state on this because, the door was open, in my opinion. I'm not a lawyer, but in my opinion, the door was open when she specifically brought up that interview and having to stop to go ask something. The judge rules in favor. He sees it the same way that I saw it. He rules in favor of the state. With the jury back, Gravely brings it up to have her clarify. Now, what he says is he asks what it was that she told them. She said it was an unregistered gun in California, and then he moved on. That was the only thing that he questioned about it, just to clarify that it wasn't something that Sadie was coaching her on, which is kind of the presumption that was left in the air the way that the defense had questioned her. He moves on, clarifies some other things about lying to, why she lied to her mom about being there the night before her birthday. She said that she doesn't think she can answer that because it has to do with her dad. And she doesn't think that she can answer without bringing up his character. Judge Schroeder clarifies that she can answer. Sometimes character things do come up based on answers. She said that she feels like her dad groomed her from a very young age and making her do things that he instructed her to do. She felt kind of like she was under his control. She said that she didn't feel like she had that freedom and wasn't allowed to talk to detectives or police. She was basically at that point still living in her dad's mentality. Well, things go bad to worse here. Mueller, again wanting to discredit this child, points out that she has had various conversations with law enforcement since Rosaleo disappeared, asked about her meeting with the DA to go over her testimony multiple times before trial. O said that, yes, they had meetings, but not about her testimony. Mueller pushes back, asking if they talked about what the questions were going to be and what she would be asked. It seems like she's sensing that pushback and that accusatory tone in Mueller's voice. So you can hear extreme defensiveness come right back in this girl. She answers by telling Mueller that those are normal things that a teenager would need to know in this situation. Again, I have to give props to Judge Schroeder right in this moment because he steps in to help regulate the emotions of this child and let her know that she doesn't have to justify it. He even takes a moment to tell the jury that it's totally normal to have these conversations leading up to trial as much as possible. And he explains that sometimes this gets a bad rap as if it's coaching, where witnesses are told to say certain things. He clarifies that that is not permitted, but what she's talking about is totally normal. So good job on this, Judge Schroeder. Now, up to this point, the only question that has been asked about the gun is one question from Gravely, where he said, "What was it you asked your mom about during the interview?" And she said, "An unregistered gun in California." Then he moved on. That was the only question asked so far. But now it's Mueller's turn to question her, and she begins to ask about the unregistered gun. So her first question, she said, "You never saw this gun, correct?" After a silence where you can tell that O is unsure how to answer, she finally says, "In what circumstance?" Mueller continues with her second question. She said, "It was in California, right?" After another long pause, she finally answers at one point, yes. Question number 3. So you're saying that the gun wasn't always in California? She said no. Question 4. What kind of gun was it? Judge Schroeder stepped in here and asked if she knew, but she said that she's not aware of guns like that. She doesn't handle guns like that. Question number 5. You said guns like that. What do you mean by guns like that? At this point, you can tell that O is getting audibly distressed and flustered. She said, meaning, I don't know, I'm not familiar with guns like that, but all I can tell you is there was one. Question number 6. What color was it? Black. Question number 7. Was it long or short? Can you describe it with your hands? She says that it was short, probably a pistol of some sort, but not sure. She's still at this point noticeably frustrated. Question number 8. Where did you see it? She said it was at the Mequon house. Question number 9. So you say this unregistered gun is in California to law enforcement. Up until today, did you ever say anything about this gun being in Wisconsin? At this point, this child has been pushed too hard and she starts to break down. She said there were other traumatic things going on in her life. She starts to cry. Judge steps in and again, he kind of gives off this paternal protective energy in the moment that balances out that kind of bulldog energy that's coming from Mueller. He tells her, you don't have to justify or defend yourself. But at this point, it's kind of too late. She seems to just break. From a psychological standpoint, it seems like she was doing everything she could to keep her walls up. But having Judge Schroeder step in and say, it's okay, you don't have to defend yourself, almost seemed to pop that defensive bubble, and all of her emotions came pouring out. So O is emotional and frustrated and crying, and she is on the stand and she says, I was threatened with that gun, for your information. So everybody's mouths kind of drop open. This isn't what we knew. It isn't what we were expecting. Mueller immediately asks that that be struck. The jury is sent to the library. O tells the judge that she doesn't want to answer the question. She's crying. Schroeder grabs or has somebody grab an attorney from the hallway and asks him to take her on as a client to give her advice on the situation. She's removed from the courtroom. The prosecutors are discussing the situation between the defendant, the witness, the firearm. I guess prosecutors knew about there being an issue between the defendant and the witness and the firearm, but defense did not. But it wasn't anything that's relevant to the case. It isn't anything that was recent. So it was not anything that was considered, important. So it wasn't, they weren't expecting it to ever go there. Both sides discuss having the jury strike this. We basically have to kind of wait to see what happens next. We don't wait long because Judge Schroeder makes everyone in the courtroom jump when he hollers at someone and kicks them out of the courtroom. Mueller is asking the judge to strike everything about the firearm because she doesn't want the implication left in the air that Zach may have had something to do with this threat, which is, to me, kind of ironic, since the whole reason that we got to this point was because she wanted to leave an implication in the air that Sadie somehow was, coaching her daughter on what to tell police. So the jury, or they agreed to tell the jury to strike that last comment, and the explosive day 11 ends. So that's kind of what you missed. So I will put out another video. Hopefully days 12 and 13 won't be quite as explosive. I'm going to do those all in one video over the weekend to get y'all caught up on anything you may miss so that you can be ready for jury duty on Monday. So if you could subscribe, tell your friends. I'm on Twitter at Brandy in Church, and I will have the exhibits and all of the pictures that you can't really see. I'll have those up on my website, brandychurchwell.com. So feel free to leave me feedback, subscribe, and I will see y'all for the next video. Thanks.